Welcome to UWS Weekly, a show that is dedicated to covering United Women's Soccer, a national pro-am league with your host, Jonathan Ward. Each and every week, we will highlight players, supporters, and staff of the clubs we all pride ourselves to support in North America. The UWS is a league that is committed to advancing women's soccer. What's going on, soccer fans? I hope you're enjoying 2021 to date, and welcome to UWS Weekly, a show dedicated to covering all things UWS and UWS2. My name is Jonathan, and I'm your host for UWS Weekly. And tonight, I'm grateful to be joined by the head coach of Foothills WFC, Lee Tucker, and assistant coach, Katie Collar, the back-to-back Western Conference champions from 2018 and 19. Lee and Katie, thank you so much for taking the time this evening to join me. And before we get started with questions, why don't you guys both give us a brief introduction of yourselves, how you got involved in the game, and your roles in the club as well as the community.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. My name's Lee Tucker, like you said. I've been at Foothills now for about 7.5 years. My first sort of experiences in soccer were back in the UK, where I played youth soccer and went into a professional environment, and then on to a semi-professional environment before taking a role at Foothills. My time with Foothills started as what was our development academy, so working with players from the ages of 11 to 18, and then has just evolved over the last few years into what I focus on more now, which is 16s to 20s and the academy program, and working with the UWS group, starting this summer as a head coach.
Yeah, and I'm Katie Collar. I actually started at Foothills as a youth player back in the day. So grew up playing for Foothills and ended up going away to university in the US and kind of had my journey that way. But came back a couple of years ago and started full-time with Foothills. So I'm the development phase manager on the girls' side for Calgary Foothills, so working with the U13 to 15 age group on the girls' side. And now I'm stepping into a kind of more relevant role with the UWS program and as the assistant coach as well. So.
Well, that's awesome. There's a lot going on in the club, so we're excited to kind of talk about it and give people some information on what's going on. So the club itself has a rich history dating back to 1972, where it started as a youth program or youth club. What is the vision and mission of this awesome historic club?
Well, what we work towards every day, Jonathan, is just creating a culture of excellence. Our sort of mandate is to develop excellent players and outstanding people. And our club vision that we're all very well versed in is to change the landscape of Canadian soccer. And we have some great examples of the work that we've done over the last few years, obviously the UWS program being part of that. We'll continue to strive to change that landscape over the next few years as well.
What are some of the ways the club impacts the community through its efforts and outreach?
I think one of the key ways that we're most proud of is our grassroots program. We're an official soccer provider for 10 communities and around 1,800 players from U4 to U8. We're a great grassroots team who look after what we call our fundamental phase, which is U4 to U8. They're always engaging with the parents, the children, whether it's festivals, jamborees. They attend community events, sort of smaller things like activity books, and right on Christmas arranged a call with Santa, which was great to see, and obviously it was well received. And so I think from a community point of view, I think that's one of the key aspects. From a club perspective, we have 2 world-class facilities that actually host co-ed soccer, flag football, other events in both facilities, and a Macron Performance Centre that is our 11v11 field house, and that's home to the Calgary Minor Soccer Association youth leagues and the men's and women's league within Calgary as well.
So Katie, there's a special program and that you're a part of with the club. Tell us a little bit about the Grow Our Girls program.
Yeah, so the Grow Our Girls program was something that kind of came to be last year in 2020, where we really wanted to focus on building the girls' side. We're losing girls in sport, and There's a lot of girls that are choosing not to participate in sport. So we started this program with kind of 3 pillars in mind. So the first one was to basically retain more girls in sport. So how do we keep more girls in sport and keep them the longevity of sport within their lives to continue to see those benefits for them? The next one is the leadership program. So trying to get more girls in leadership and promoting them through leadership training and the opportunity to then really kind of apply it practically and work with other people and kids and things like that. And then the pathway piece, which ties into UWS and university and all the things that, we do to try to push the girls' game and women's game forward at the club.
Nice. Lee, you're taking over the reins of the UWS club heading into this year. How has being with the club as an assistant helped you prepare for this role as now the head coach of Foothills WFC?
Yeah, I think the overall experience has just been key. From learning things like the role responsibility of a head coach at this sort of level, a general manager type role, which is new for me to understand in that respect. Understanding the level of competition, what it takes to be successful on the field, and then for me personally, then recognizing maybe areas where we could actually evolve and then improve as we move forward as well.
And Katie, you've been with the club since your youth time, right? So, and you're actually currently working towards a Canadian A license. How has that process been for you? I mean, it is pretty prestigious in that there's 6 women who currently are part of it, and you, along with 6 other of your peers, are part of this program now for a Class A coaching license.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time, to be honest. The fact that we have 6 women on the current course is really exciting. I think it's the most women that have ever been on one course. So getting that and kind of building that community has been really exciting. I think, it's a good time for me personally, for my personal development, because I'm now starting in more of a, like I said, kind of relevant role with the UWS program. And as we work through the A license, it really is focused on that level of coaching. So when it comes to the tactical development and things like that. So it will be really relevant throughout the year and working both towards my A license and the development of the UWS program. So
awesome. So now what type of players make up the team within the club? Do you guys bring from the youth program, or is it kind of just finding players who want to be a part of the team and the culture?
Yeah, I think culture is a great word, Jonathan. It's something that we're very conscious of within our club, and it really is throughout our club. So the players that we do select have to fit the culture, but we have a great core group, and they're playing at top universities. Whether in Canada or in America. And we have players that have played professionally and represented Canada at various levels. We have some that are aspiring to do that. And of course, our role is to try and help, provide an environment that can allow them to do that. So yeah, culture is key. But of course, we're also looking for the quality players as well to enable us to compete and ultimately challenge for championships.
What are the development phases of Foothills Women's Football Club?
We have several, and it's split right from, like I say, grassroots U4 to U8, which is our fundamental phase. We're then 9s to 12s. We have our foundation phase, 13s to 15s development phase, and 16s to 20s we call our generation phase. Each of those areas actually has a phase lead as well, and one on the boys' side, one on the girls' side. So, we're very specific with what we're doing. Each phase has their own focuses and outcomes. And they align with the phase before and what's going after as well. So it gives us the best chance for us to, have a long-term development, actually develop players through our program, and again, can now go on to this platform to represent us at the UWS level and beyond.
So speaking of that development, what impact has the team had on the success or even the development of the club at the youth level?
I think it's about recognition, of this part of the program. It creates opportunities for players, and again, once we look at how we're developing players through our program, it's then about where can they go next. And with this part to our program, it does provide us with a chance to put the players in situations, against the best players playing at the highest possible level in the country. and that's key. And again, that supports them with where they may go next or where they aspire to get to at some point in the future.
So, Katie, talking a little bit about this, as well as the Grow Our Girls program, how is this program, the Grow Our Girls program, kind of seen within the development? How is it working as a collaborative mission between the two?
Yeah, I think it's a massive pillar for the Grow Our Girls program, because you hear it a lot in sport and things, but if you can see it, you can be it is something that we're trying to live by and build off of within our women's program. So the fact that we have these women that are performing at such a high level and having success at that level, whether it's with our UWS team in the American school environments or youth sport environment, it's really something that our kids can look up to. So when it comes down to our young girls in the club, they see that, and they see the kids that have come through our program, that have come through our development phases and are now playing at the pro-am level. I think it's really cool, and it provides them an opportunity to really say, like, I could be that and I could do that. So I think it helps them in their journey as well.
So the club was back-to-back Western Conference champions in 2018 and actually hosted the national championship in 2019. How did that help the club and its success, as well as even Soccer in Canada?
Again, I'll go back to sort of two words: recognition and opportunity. I think for us to host such a prestigious event, great quality competition, provided us as a club a chance to showcase a professional event and the impact that this part of our club is having on the soccer community. We had, I think, around 1,500 supporters from various clubs around Calgary, watching players from, again, top universities in Canada, NCAA schools, international level players. In terms of opportunity, it just shows the importance of it. The program and league are key for our players to prepare them for next level opportunities. We have had players such as Maya Jones, Kaylee Brooks, Tanya Boychuk, who were part of our group, having been playing NCAA soccer, then went on to represent Canada at U20 level. They're training and playing consistently at the highest level. It's so key for them to stay sharp, stay ready for those opportunities. We've then had other players that went on to professional environments, Sarah Kinsner, Alex Lamontagne, to name a couple. And so again, we're able to prepare them for the next step. So, for those players, it is so key to have that opportunity.
This last year has been really difficult for sports in general, with everything that's going on in the world. What have you taken away from this last year to ensure the growth and success of the program going forward, including yourselves?
I think, what we do a lot here and what we challenge ourselves as a staff to do is review and reflect on our performance and progress, not just from the last year, but even from the first year that this part of our program started. Where were we? What improvements have we made, and so on and so forth. It's certainly a chance for us to evolve technically and tactically and provide our players with an environment that allows them to sort of showcase those talents. So how do we keep it moving forward? We've added to our program. So we now have a U20 program where players are training more regularly. Our academy program for certain aspects of our program, players train up to 14 hours per week. And they have different aspects to that, whether it's video analysis or mental skills program. And we've added these pieces to again, evolve our program and ultimately enable us to continue to compete at the highest level.
Katie?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tux hit it on the head there, but it's given us a real chance to kind of take a step back and evaluate what we're doing, right? And it gives us the chance to reflect on what we're doing and then actually properly plan. Because I think sometimes you get caught up in that day to day and you don't get to kind of plan for the future, right? So having, this time, when it comes to planning, I think it was almost a blessing in disguise, because then you can really look forward and set goals and set targets for us to kind of work towards. So I think that was, a positive that we took out of it when it came to the actual being able to step back, evaluate, and then plan for the future.
What makes soccer in Calgary different, as well as what are some of the challenges that you face? You've got hockey, you've got rugby, there's so many sports. hockey's kind of the national sport, but what are some of the things that makes soccer different for you guys?
Yeah, we talk about this a fair bit as well. I think the obvious one for most people in Calgary would be the environment that we actually are in. And for some people it is seen as a challenge. I think for us as a club, like I say, we have that mindset that it's an opportunity, and we've took the opportunity, and through the sort of work, the vision of people like Danny Hay, who's our executive director, Leon Hapgood, who's our technical director, to create an environment that is just made for player development. At our performance center, we have the 11v11 field. We have an on-site gym. We have an athletic therapist, a full-time sports science department, full-time video analysis team, and across the board, sort of one of the most qualified coaching teams in the country. So, I think again, although there are challenges, it's what's the opportunity and how can we turn that into a benefit for us. For a challenge I think we do face is actually trying to find the right level of competition for our players to play on a full-time basis. And that can be true for certain age groups in the youth program. But, using the UWS as an example, it certainly provided the opportunity for players to sort of do that through the summer.
Katie, anything to add?
Yeah, it's interesting because you always talk about, or people talk about barriers that we face with the environment and the weather and all those types of things. And I think that is actually what makes Canadian soccer different. We have to adapt to those things. And, you'll be in a university season and you'll come into a game with snow on the field and you're shoveling the lines. And then by the end of it, it's sunny and clear and 10 degrees Celsius. And it's just something that, we have to work through and adapt to. And I think it, allows players to really appreciate their passion for the sport, because you are going out in the snow and training for nationals and things like that. So I think it is something that makes, soccer in Canada different, but I think it also gives our players a bit of an edge and a bit of grit to be able to kind of come through that and continue to develop at the same rate.
That's awesome. So being a part of the Western Conference and being the back-to-back champs, right? 2020, nobody really took that crown away from you. So you're still the defending champs. Who's your biggest rival in not just the league, or not just the conference, but also the league? And there's a team that just started that might have a say about this. So let's make sure we're treading carefully, huh?
Yeah. Well, I think when you talk about a rival, I think I have to base it on the last few seasons and the type of games that we've sort of been involved in, and there's one team in particular for me that stands out, which would be Santa Clarita. Really well coached team, some top players, and a great example of how to operate at this level. They consistently send their players to professional, international environments. So they are for sure one of the toughest opponents that we faced in previous seasons.
Katie, are you agreeing with the same idea of Santa Clarita?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I'm newer to the team, so I haven't been, a part of those kind of long battles that they've had over the last couple seasons. I was a part of the 2019 season to an extent, but I think from a league perspective, definitely, and we look forward to the new team in Edmonton coming in, and we look forward to seeing how they come together, and we look forward to that Battle of Alberta to see how that goes. So, it's an exciting time for Alberta, and it's an exciting time for Canada to have a second team coming in. But I think, from a history perspective, it would definitely be, teams in the league that we've battled with over the course of the last couple of years for sure.
Fair enough. I just wanted to see if I could stir the pot a little bit. I might have. So as the community of Calgary grows, what would you guys like to see in a supporters group for the team? I know there's the foot soldiers that kind of represent the USL and the other programs with the Canadian National League, but what would you guys be looking for for a supporters group?
Yeah, the foot soldiers is a great example. How they started supporting on the men's side as such, and have provided support at key times as well for our women's teams, which is awesome. And are now part of the CPL sort of supporters group with the Cavalry. So that's been fantastic to watch that evolve over the last few years. We'd love our own. I was fortunate last year to be at the US Soccer Convention and the NCAA draft, and to see like Washington Spirit supporters there cheering when players got assigned to their team. That was a really cool experience, and I'd love to think that through the work that's happened in the past few seasons and the players and the experience that we're going to provide coming through now, that we'll be able to get to a point over the next year to two that we're going to create our own and actually see that at each of our games. But Katie, thoughts?
Yeah, I think a supporter group or building that community is super important. And, we've already kind of talked about the national championship in 2019 and the supporters that we had there, not just from Foothills, but from other clubs and other parts of the Calgary system. I think it helps grow that community, and it also helps to keep the conversation going, right? If we have more people supporting, UWS franchise or UWS team, it keeps the women's soccer conversation going, not just throughout the season, but then, what's happening, who are we signing, what are we doing next year? And it allows us to continue that and keep it on the forefront of people's minds to continue to grow, right? I think it's super important.
Mm-hmm. Kind of answered my next question was how impactful has the community been for the club? But it sounds like the community continuously growing is having an impact in how the club is viewed. Not just that, but the growth and the success of that club. So really excited for what's ahead with the community, excited for what's ahead with Calgary Foothills. Looking forward to it. So that kind of brings us into the next part of the show, rapid fire questions. Producer Joe and I have set out a few questions for you guys. You can skip one question, but you won't know the next question until we get there. So you both will be answering, and hopefully we can make it all the way through without skipping. But my first question is a softball one, very easy. What is the biggest kryptonite snack that you have to stay away from, or that you have on your office desk?
Mine's easy. Mine would just be anything that's chocolate.
Okay. Oreos,
okay. All right. Most embarrassing moment on the pitch.
Ooh.
Go on, Katie.
I was doing an evaluation for a coach license, and I woke up very, very sick that morning. And I was running the session with the U17 boys team, and I think I was so green that I looked like I was going to puke. I actually had to leave the field early because I was so ill, and it was very, very embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't know if I have something to that level, but what was embarrassing at the time that I remember is just scoring an own goal, which didn't happen very often. But I was young, and it impacted me for a number of weeks. So
it still impacts you. You're still talking about it.
Yeah.
So, what is one New Year's resolution for you going into 2021? What are you both looking forward to? Is it soccer related? Maybe life related? What do we got?
Mine, I guess, life related, soccer related as well. But is create more opportunities. That is mine.
I had two. One was very, very simple, and it was just a couple of fitness exercises in my house that we have to do. And if we don't do them that day, we have to pay into the jar. And the jar is raising money for fun activities, hopefully. And then my other one was just to continue to grow our Girls program. So to see what we can grow into in 2021.
Nice. All-time favorite pair of boots?
Copas.
I'm going to go Nike Tiempo.
Oh, the Nike Tiempos. Okay. Now, when we talk about the Nike Tiempos, are we going back to the Edgar Davids ones that were black that had the orange on them with that plastic on it?
Yeah, very similar. Mine, they were around the Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo as such.
The real one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Favorite pro team outside of Calgary Foothills?
Easy. Liverpool.
Yeah, mine's a bit interesting because I didn't have one necessarily growing up. I had a split household. My dad was Liverpool. My brother was Manchester United. So, but recently, both on the men's side and women's side, definitely Man City for me.
That's traitor right there. I mean, how do you go from a house of red to a house?
And both women's and men's.
And this was so going well. This was going so well up until this point. I can handle the Liverpool stuff being a Manchester United supporter, but man, all right, just threw City. Coffee or tea?
Oh, tea. Tea.
Definitely coffee.
Coffee. Are we talking hot coffee or cold brew coffee? Because there's definitely a difference.
Typically hot coffee. In the summer, definitely a cold brew.
All right. What coach or individual has had the biggest impact on your style of coaching?
Okay.
You want me to go?
Not Katie. I'm asking Katie to go first. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, me. Definitely me. Mine's actually not a soccer coach. Mine's actually Coach K from Duke basketball. When I was a kid, we went to national championship, and actually Coach Troy Flannery used to read us a chapter from that before our games in the evening at the hotel. And when I started coaching, I actually read his book, Leading with the Heart. And it was something that now I go back to every year and kind of refresh and read, because I just kind of really resonate with his philosophy.
Yeah, I think for me, I like the top coaches, like Klopp, Guardiola, Mourinho. I'm going to stay away from any United manager as such, but I think when I think about this question, it's influenced a lot by my ability to reflect and review, evaluate my own sort of style and performance as such, but also we've been supported, guided, etc. along the way from coach educators, from people who started with me back in England. There was a great coach educator, Nigel Quincy, Stuart Neely, Valerio Gazzola in Canada, soccer coach education, and then all the people around me. So although, jokingly, I asked Katie to go first, but Katie, Leon, is Jonathan Wielden, Wayne Cleverley, like the staff, Tommy Wielden previously, Troy previously, that are around us have been a big influence, I think, in that respect.
Now, this question, Katie, this might be harder for you to answer unless you can go back into the vault of the youth time. But what is the greatest moment in your team, in your club's history?
Do you want me to go first, or you got it?
You're good. You carry on.
Okay. So I kind of have two, so it's kind of cheating. My first one, and they kind of tie together in a way, but my first one was definitely back as a youth player. I grew up in a Foothills that was much smaller than it is now, believe it or not. So it's had a lot of development over the last couple of years, but we actually had the fortune of going to back-to-back national championships and winning national championships back-to-back, which hadn't been done in something like 10 years, which was very, very cool at the time. And then kind of tying into that, I guess, my first summer back to the club, I had the fortune again to coach a 2002 born girls team that went to provincials the same time as Tuxies 04s and the two boys teams as well. And all four groups earned berths into the national championships, with two of those groups winning. So my first summer back, we had, two national championships and four teams that went, which was a pretty cool kind of reflection on legacy piece, I guess, looking back for me coming back into the club. So.
Yeah, I always think, Jonathan, for us to be able to run successful franchises, men's and women's, whether it's PDO initially, USL, UWS, that they're successful off the field, but also on the field, winning teams with the vast majority of players come through the program. So I think for us to be able to do that over the last few years, it has to be and continues to be one of the greatest moments in our history. I think every time we're able to put players into a professional environment, whether that's on field in terms of playing opportunities or off field for those that graduate through our program, it's a little bit of legacy there as well. And obviously national team opportunities from a playing perspective is what we'd love to get our players into. So the more that we can do that with respect to player development, that goes in terms of great moments in our club history as well. Like we said at the beginning, changing the landscape of Canadian soccer, that's our club vision. So, what I love about this club is we're always working to develop opportunities, and ultimately we're here to create history, not repeat it. And so from our point of view now, it's what's next. So I look forward to sort of answering that maybe again in a year's time, and we've rewritten it as such.
I hope to have this conversation again and talk about it when you guys win the national championship this year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So before we part this evening, I have one question for each of you to answer, and that is simple. What does community mean to you?
Go on, Katie.
Okay. It's funny because I actually was thinking a lot about this question yesterday, and the thing that kept coming back into my head was my mom always used to say that it takes a village to raise a kid. And I know for me, my kind of experience through the soccer community was a big part of my village. And so what community means to me is kind of that development of a family that's, that kind of unconditional support that's there to kind of pick you up if you need to, or cheer you on and give you that support, but also challenge you to continue to grow and reach new heights, I guess. So when you think of kind of the soccer community, becoming, a part of your village, I think is a really important piece. So that was really the first thing that came to mind when I thought about community yesterday, and then the growth of our community and how we can provide that for others as well.
Yeah, and again, thinking about this over the last day or so is something that I think a group of people have in common, such as a belief or values, something that you're affiliated to, like a team or a club, and in that community, you're collaborating, looking out for each other, working together, and to achieve a common goal, such as achieving success through soccer, which I think, when we talk about community, certainly from our point of view of this program, that's what it's about for us.
Well, Katie and Lee, thank you so much for taking the time to chat this evening. I wish you both and the club the best going forward, and I look forward to having more conversations, but next time, hopefully in person soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Have a great evening.
Andrew, thanks.
Awesome conversation with two great people. Check them out, Foothills WFC on Instagram. Make sure you check them out and give them a follow. Tons of interesting stuff coming your way from them. So next is the segment that is dedicated to highlight individuals in our UWS communities doing awesome things away from the pitch. This person could be a supporter, club staff, or a player who is doing awesome things to support their club or community. I'm fortunate to be joined by a University of Michigan student and AFC Ann Arbor player, where she actually made club history as the youngest goal scorer for either the men's or women's side, scoring a goal in the Michigan Milk Cup against North Oakland as a 17-year-old. Please welcome community activist Emily Eisman.
Hi.
Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. How are things going for you so far in 2021?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Things have been going pretty well so far in 2021. I've been on break from school for the past week or so it's been nice to have some time off from that and just relax and work on some other projects and spend time with family.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit yesterday about those projects and kind of what's going on, but you've been a busy person lately with a lot of different things, from being a board member for the Mighty Oak Youth Project, along with community kicks, and soon to be author. So let's start with the Mighty Oak Project. Tell us a little bit about that project.
Yeah, so I've been a board member for the Mighty Oak for almost about 2 years now, and it's just been a really great experience. We've been able to make so many different impacts. Some of the things that we've done is we've donated like apparel and soccer equipment to kids. We've given them like tickets to go to AFC Ann Arbor games and Michigan games. We provided them like opportunities to play in like soccer clinics and camps and leagues that they otherwise wouldn't be able to play on, which I think that's like really awesome, just to give like so many different opportunities that otherwise wouldn't be there. And we also have a lot of like partnerships with programs that focus on things like nutrition and health, and just a bunch of programs that use soccer as like a medium to help like better their communities. And with the pandemic, we've been in a very much of like a planning phase, but we've had one of our focuses that we've had like for a while now is really trying to like encourage women in coaching in soccer. So like Mami Yamaguchi, she got a female coaching scholarship. Sue was another one of my AFC teammates. She got a scholarship to take English classes, which is really great. And but yeah, like I said, we've been doing a lot of planning over the past couple of months due to the pandemic and everything, but we have a lot that we're looking forward to in 2021. We're going to try to keep handing out scholarships like that, and also another goal that we have is to do the same, but with like Black coaches and players, and just give them more opportunities as well. So I'm really excited for the upcoming year.
Sounds like a lot going on, but that's not the only thing you do. You also are part of Community Kicks. Can you give us some idea? I mean, you are a coach and you've done some virtual videos for players, but what is Community Kicks and what is the mission of the program?
Yeah, so Community Kicks, the mission is to teach kids soccer, which is what we did with those videos and everything. But there's also a focus on teaching them things like nutrition. And if you like go on the website, you'll see like a smoothie recipe, and like just teaching them how to take care of themselves, and also just other life skills that they can take with them beyond the game of soccer, which I think is just, obviously that's so important when teaching kids the game and everything. But yeah, and then so my position as a community coach over the summer, obviously things were virtual, so I made some videos just like teaching skills that they could do on their own. And then I wasn't, as a coach, I wasn't as involved in this side, but Community Kicks was also able to distribute I think over 30,000 lunch bags to kids in different areas like Grand Rapids and Flint and Lansing and things like that. So that was really awesome, especially during a pandemic. There's always so much need, and especially during these times, that was really great that we were able to keep making an impact and do that.
And finally, that you now are an author. This book that you wrote is currently in the illustration phase. Can you give us a teaser or kind of give us an idea of what the book is about?
Yeah, so I'm and everything I do, I think educating youth is really key, and then I also really love writing. So children's books is something that I really want to make those. And I made the book that's being made right now. My illustrator will hopefully have it done sometime in March. But I thought with the pandemic, obviously we're all going through such hard times, and kids with social distancing for everyone, it's made it emotionally really hard, and online school, everyone's adjusting to so many different things. And I thought that this would be a good time, because I think children's books can just teach kids so many different things. And I thought right now there's so much to especially right now there's so much to learn. And it's basically about a girl that is, she's not happy about the switch to online school and just the social distancing and everything in general. And it's just about her adjustment to the pandemic and everything going on. And the moral of the book is basically you can't change events, but you can change the attitude that you have towards them. So I'm hoping that'll kind of help kids to learn to not only deal with moments like these, but just try your best to learn and even benefit and just do what you can with hard times like this.
Well, that's really exciting. We're really happy and hope for the best of that. But what other projects or efforts are you currently involved in that you care to share?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple of different projects right now. So in addition, like I said, I'm really interested in writing children's books, and I actually made a prototype for a website that I'm hoping that I'll be able to. I'm pitching for funding for it in the spring, so hopefully if that goes well, I'll be able to carry out with it. But it basically has different categories like equity, philanthropy, sportsmanship, kindness, and a bunch of different categories like that. And then under each category, there's books that will teach kids about those things. So I have one category that's pandemic, and then this book would be under that. But yeah, I have a lot of book drafts, and I'm just hoping that I'll be able to move forward with that, because I think children's books are such a great way to help kids. It just shape. I think it can serve as a medium to shape kids and ultimately shape the future. And then I have a couple of other projects. I just recently a nursing home in Ann Arbor is going to ask the residents some questions that I have just about regrets and lessons that those individuals have had over the years. And then my goal is to put all of the answers in a book or a website. And then because I think that a lot of older individuals, they have so many things that just all of the time that they've had and all the experiences, they could teach so much to younger kids and to just everyone. And I think that there's not a lot of outlets for them to share things like that. So if that goes well, then I'm going to expand to some other homes and other individuals. So that's one of my other projects. And then this one is this is super preliminary, but this is just something that I really want to do, because I think it's just it's well, I recently learned I've learned more about dementia and things like that, older diseases. And I learned I never realized how preventable that they can be with I never realized how much of an impact lifestyle and eating healthy and exercise has on that kind of thing. So I kind of wanted to try to do something that just encourages kids to exercise and eat healthy, and then also do like they say like brain games like Sudoku, word searches, just keep your brain active, even like music. Like I really want to do something that will really encourage all of that, because I think that like dementia, I know like my family, it's like impacted so many of my like grandparents, and I never realized how much at least like personally, I just want to like spread awareness of how much we can do to like hopefully prevent that in adults, because so many adults get that. And then so those are kind of my main projects. I'm also a part of like a club at Michigan. We've distributed like journaling kits because I'm really passionate about writing, but those are kind of my main projects that I'm working on right now.
Well, it's awesome. You got your hands full of projects. Gotta slow down to speed up a little bit, but that's great, Emily. What drives you to be so involved in investing so much in your community while also being a full-time student?
Yeah, philanthropy is just so important to me, just because I feel like there's so much need, and like especially like during times like this when I have so much time, like I get like so crazy and like I start like thinking about a million different projects. But ultimately, I just think that there is just so much need in the world, and like I just want to be able to impact as much as I can in as many different like areas as I can, and just enhance as many lives as possible. And I just read like. I have a lot of people who obviously inspire me in life, and I just read a book by Mitch Albom, and I ended up reading like a bunch of his books because I really enjoyed that one. And then I was learning more about him, and he's actually founded like 9 different charities, and that's honestly inspired me so much, because it just like reminds me that there's no like limit on like the impact I can have. So that's why I'm kind of I definitely like I need to definitely slow down, like when I think I have so many different things that I'm trying to do, and like I have so many different ideas. But I just think there's so much need, and like people like Mitch Albom show me that like I really can impact a lot. So that's my goal in life.
Well, Emily, thank you so much for everything you're doing for not just your community, but for everybody. We look forward to that book, hopefully in the springtime. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we look forward to more of your efforts and potentially having another conversation soon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
You too.
So the league itself, the word expansion has recently become a major buzzword in the UWS news, with teams and conferences being added to the National Pro-Am League at a record pace. Our first news of expansion, we travel north of the border as St. Albert Soccer Association's Impact FC will bring UWS action to the greater Edmonton, Alberta region, as well as the Western Conference this upcoming season. A very familiar face up in Canada will be leading the Impact FC in their inaugural season, as 2-time UWS Coach of the Year, Troy Flannery, will serve as the team's head coach and general manager. The SA is a respected regional club program actively involved in the Edmonton Minor Soccer Association at the youth level. Players from St. Albert, Edmonton, and surrounding areas enjoy professional fitness sessions and academy training under the direction of licensed coaches, access to premier fields, facilities, and much, much more. The Eastern Conference of the UWS has seen the addition of the Albany Rush, which joins a steadily growing lineup of teams. The Capital District team is the second new organization to be added to the UWS East, alongside newcomers New Jersey Teamsters Football Club. The Albany, New York-based club has been in operation since 2016 as a region of the New York Rush, and contains a comprehensive youth program that has over 80 teams and more than 1,000 players. The UWS League 2 announced the formation of the Mid-Atlantic Conference in November for the upcoming 2021 season. On top of that, this past week, we've added 2 new franchises in Virginia FC and the Delaware Union, who will take part in the conference's inaugural campaign. The newcomers will join the first 4 teams that have been announced in Annapolis United, Keystone FC, Lancaster Inferno, and Maryland Elite Soccer Club. Nova FC was founded in 1998 and is based out of Woodbridge, Virginia, and the greater Washington area. And the Delaware Union was officially founded in 2014, but the organization's roots actually go all the way back to 1983. The UWS2 is proud to announce the addition of the Sunshine Conference and will be made up of 5 Florida-based organizations starting this summer. Jacksonville FC, Atletico Miami, Union Deportivo, Unity FC, Soccer Paradise, and Orlando FC Royals will take the pitch and compete for the conference crown. Jacksonville FC and Atletico Miami UD are new additions, while Orlando and Unity competed against each other last summer in the inaugural U.S. League 2 game. There are many teams who are looking for players this upcoming season and also holding tryouts, or as we learned last week with Unity, try-ins. If you're interested, find a local team in your area and see if your UWS or UWS team is looking for players. This is a great opportunity to keep playing or even dust off those old boots and get back in the game that we all love. Check out UWS online for information at uwssoccer.com/tryouts. Thank you to our partner, Techni Football. Techni is an app to help players develop strong training habits on their own time through repetition, tracking, and competition. Former U.S. national team and professional player Yael Averbush puts out a new training session every week with guest players and exciting new challenges regularly. Check it out in your app store for Android and Apple and get a free 7-day trial. This past December, we had our own competition. Congratulations to our 2 winners from the December Skills Challenge of alternating juggles in Cheyenne McLeod, who we featured on the show. She was able to collect 211 total juggles in 1 minute. And also Boston Jade for the freestyle demonstration of the skills challenge as well. They both will receive prize packages from Techni Football for their efforts. Check out Techni Football on Instagram at Techni Football for skills of the day. And don't forget to participate in this month's U.S. Skill Challenge. This month, skill that is demonstrated by Yael is how many passes can you complete in 1 minute that comes through the gate cleanly. This gate is 3 feet off the wall and 2 feet wide. Both the player with the top score and 1 entry selected at random will win a prize pack. All you have to do is follow UWS Soccer and Techni on Twitter and Instagram, attempt the skill, post it, tag UWS and Techni, while at the same time challenging 3 of your friends at the skill. Make sure to use hashtag UWS skills for your chance to win. I want to say thank you so much to everyone for taking the time to join us this evening for UWS Weekly. You can follow all things UWS and UWS2 on their social media pages, as well as sending questions for the shows that are upcoming. Don't forget, next week, Thursday, we will be joined by Rochester Lancers Club. So until Thursday, next week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, have a great evening, everybody. Enjoy the weekend, and cheers.